Hi, my name is Sam Luber, and I'm the Consumer Protection Representative here at Great Bank. And I want to thank you for your time in watching this video and allowing me to create this presentation for our high school seniors so we can better prepare them to deal with identity theft in the future. And so I'm really excited to get into it, so let's jump right in. I have an outline for today, and we're going to start with going over what is identity theft and why identity theft isn't a joke, Jim. And then we're going to move on to the effects of identity theft and why it's important to prevent identity theft. And then after that, we're going to move into how to prevent it, actually, and where your info might be safe, what institutions that you can trust. And then we're going to move into a mobile world, protecting your phone and your passwords. How, everyone uses their phone nowadays to send and receive money. We have all our bank accounts on there. How we can safeguard our phone and how passwords play a big part in that and how we can protect those as well. So to start, what is identity theft? Identity theft is when someone steals your personal information. It could be your name, your address, your social security number, your bank details, credit card, anything like that, where they gain access to a personal information and they can misrepresent you as them. And so they can gain access to a lot of different things, and that can have a very negative impact on you. So moving on to the effects of identity theft. And so identity theft is a really big thing to deal with. At worst, it could just be a stolen credit card, and you can dispute those charges with your credit card company, and they can be removed and you get a new credit card. But at worst, they could open a credit card in your name, and you don't even know about that. And then you're getting notices from the credit bureau saying that you have unpaid debts and that your credit score is totally tanked, and you have a lot bigger problems on your hands. So basically, if someone gains access to your credit, they can open up different accounts, they can misrepresent you, and in the end, your credit score goes way down, and that is the big issue. And with that, you can lose access to different things like obtaining loans for a house or a car, but also you can even lose out on trying to get an apartment if you just want to rent. A lot of times they check your credit score to see how responsible you are, and if it's really bad, then they might not approve you. Same thing with a job. If they'll check your credit score, and if your credit is super terrible, then they might just gloss over you. They might not even look at you. And so that's a big thing and a big problem. You could lose out on job opportunities. You could have trouble finding a place to live. It's really important that we keep our credit score and our identity safe and stable so that we don't lose out on any opportunities here. And another thing that can impact you is it can even increase your insurance premiums on your home or on a car. Seeing that credit score go down can increase your premiums. And also just dealing with the whole incident of having your identity stolen is a big problem. So you could have to pay legal fees, or you have to fight a long and lengthy process that takes a lot of time out of your day in order to get some of these changes reversed, and so you don't have to pay that money that this person stole from you, and so that you can get your identity back intact. So that can take a really long time. So then kind of moving into how to prevent, the biggest thing is being careful where you give your information, how you store your information, and who has access to that kind of information. So keeping that safe, and we'll talk about this a little bit more in a second here, keeping that safe is probably the biggest thing, because if someone gets access to that information, then they can misrepresent you as themselves and steal a lot of your information. Another thing is having strong passwords is a big deal. We'll talk about that in a minute as well. If you have a weak password, someone can steal that information or guess it very quickly. Or use a computer tool to just brute force that password and just gain access to your accounts. And that can be a big security flaw and allow you to just, for them to just take your passwords. Secondly, a big thing is checking your credit reports and your financial statements. So every year you can get 3 different credit reports, all for free, from Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And with those, you can look over your credit report, make sure everything looks good, make sure there's nothing that's wrong. And if there is something that's wrong, you need to correct that right away. Also, looking at your bank statements or your credit card statements is a great way to spot if someone maybe stole your credit card, or maybe something is just going a little funky that you want to make sure everything is okay, you can do that. And if you check it regularly, you can catch it before it becomes a big problem. So that's really important. Additionally, you can enroll in identity theft and monitoring. Sometimes that's free, sometimes that costs a monthly fee, and that can help you just be alerted and be aware of what's going on with your identity. Just in case something does happen, you can be ready to step in before it gets too bad. So that's a little overview of how to prevent it. But we're going to go into some cases where how to give out your information, and places that it's safe and places that you should be very careful of. So to start, places that it's safe, your bank, if you're applying for a loan or anything, that is normally a safe place. The government, doing your taxes, that's a safe place. And if you're giving it out to your employer, that's usually all right as well. That's totally fine. A lot of times credit bureaus will want that to check your credit, and that would be all right too. But at the end of the day, just play it safe. If someone's asking you for your information, make sure they are who they say they are. So, check with the official website or call them to call the official company so that you make sure that they're the right people. And if you're a little bit skeptical, make sure you do your research. It's never a bad idea to take 5 minutes to look on the internet and make sure that this is an all right place to give your information. And so, just always go with caution and giving out your information, and make sure they are who you say they are. And a good example of someone trying to misrepresent themselves to get information from you is an email. And I have a little example here. So in this email, say you get an email from your bank. It says your account needs updating from Chase Bank. And, your info is outdated. You need to update your account before you can sign in again. And they want you to click here and just go to whatever this website is and enter all your information so that your account is secure again. And the problem with this is there's a couple weird things. If you click this link, you're not sure that that's going to go to Chase Bank's official website so that all your information is secure and private. And also, this email address is very different and kind of sketchy. So, you see the weird spelling of Chase with the underscore and 2 S's at a weird .net email address. So obviously these are red flags, and maybe this isn't Chase Bank sending me this information. So it's always a good idea to go to the institution itself, or make sure you're going through their verified communication ways to make sure that you're not just clicking on something that you don't know what it is. So there are some ways of making sure that your information is going to the people that actually need it and not going to anywhere that might use it for malicious purposes. And so lastly, we're going to go to the mobile world using your phone and your passwords. So obviously passwords are a big part of our life. We use that every day. If we're logging onto our bank app to check our balance, or if we're sending money through Venmo or other of those payment apps, that's a really quick, easy way to do things. But in the mobile world, there's a lot of different ways you need to protect yourself. So first of all, your passwords. Especially for bank details, your passwords need to be very different. You don't want them to be the same, because then if someone gets one of them, they can access all your info. And that means that all your money could be gone very quickly if they just get one password that maybe isn't as secure in, say, your library or something. Maybe they get it from there, and now they have all your bank details. That's not a fun experience. So you want to make sure you have strong passwords, and also you don't want to store your passwords on your phone or somewhere that anyone has access to. You want to keep it in a locked location, or somewhere in your head, or somewhere that it's not going to be just found anywhere. Also, you want to make sure you log out of all the services on your phone, and maybe even think about getting a service where you can erase your phone if you lose it, because if someone else has access to it and it's already signed in, well, now they have access to all your accounts, and that's not a fun experience. It's also a really good idea to download updates as soon as possible and monitor your accounts so that the security, you always are thinking about the security, and if it gets hacked, it's just okay, and you can, get a new credit card and everything's going to be all right. And so I wanted to thank you very much today for listening to my presentation. Hopefully it'll be really helpful to our high school students that are just entering the workforce and are trying to navigate this mobile world of payments. And I think it'll be a big help in trying to prevent people from stealing their information and any misrepresentation that can create a lot of headaches and stealing of money. And that's not a fun experience. We want to make sure that stops before it happens. Thank you.